Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is theorize. Today we're diving into one of the biggest questions in the Little Nightmares community. Where exactly does Little Nightmares 3 fit in the timeline? Since the developers haven't confirmed anything yet, I want to explore one major possibility. What if Little Nightmares 3 actually takes place after the events of Little Nightmares 2, in a world where Mono has already become the Thin Man? This video isn't a story recap, this is my theory, my prediction, and the logical chain of events that might unfold if this timeline position is the truth. So let's get into the video. So if we assume Little Nightmares 3 is set after LN2, the first big consequence is that the entire world would already be under the influence of the signal tower at its maximum strength. Mono becoming the Thin Man isn't just a character event, it's a universe-changing shift. It means the Thin Man now has full access to the broadcast, and that creates a completely different atmosphere for Low and Alone. In my theory, if this is the timeline, the tower's control would be more aggressive and more unpredictable than ever before. We could be seeing stronger distortions, faster corruption of environments, and even more hostile behaviors from any creature influenced by the transmission. Low and Alone wouldn't just be surviving, they'd be navigating a world where reality itself bends because Mono is no longer resisting the tower, he is powering it. Another prediction that comes from this timeline placement is how Mono, as the Thin Man, might connect to the protagonists of Little Nightmares 3. If the game truly happens after LN2, Mono would already recognize patterns in children who resist the tower's influence. He might consider Low and Alone as new potential threats or anomalies, similar to how he once was. So if this timeline is correct, we could see the Thin Man becoming more active, more present, or even more intentionally hunting them, not randomly but purposefully. And that creates a unique dynamic where the antagonist isn't just a monster, it's a broken version of a child who went through similar trauma. The emotional weight of this adds a deeper layer to the world building because it suggests that Low and Alone are stepping into a conflict they don't fully understand, one started long before they existed. If this timeline is accurate, Low and Alone might also indirectly experience the consequences of Six's betrayal. Even though Six might not appear in LN3, her actions would still echo through the universe. The idea that Mono was betrayed and left to fall into his fate means the world would already be in a cycle of despair, and that emotional collapse feeds into the tower. My prediction is that LN3 could explore themes of trust, betrayal, and the fear of becoming the next piece of the tower's machinery. If Low and Alone encounter remnants of Mono's past, things like broken mirrors, distorted mannequins, or old broadcast echoes, it would reinforce the idea that they're walking through the ruins of someone else's tragedy. Finally, if LN3 takes place after Mono's transformation, the biggest prediction is that Low and Alone might actually be forced to confront the Thin Man not as a villain but as a clue. They might discover hints about why the world is collapsing, how the tower gains its power, or even the possibility that breaking the cycle requires understanding Mono's story, not fighting it. And that would shift the narrative direction. Instead of trying to escape the horrors of the world, LN3 might push them toward uncovering the truth about the broadcast itself. If this theory is correct, Little Nightmares 3 wouldn't just be another isolated tale, it would be a direct continuation of the tragedy started in LN2, showing how Mono's fate reshaped the entire universe. And that wraps up my theory on what Little Nightmares 3 could look like if it really takes place after the events of Little Nightmares 2, in a world where Mono has already become the Thin Man. But like I always say, this is just my prediction based on the clues we have. And honestly, a lot of these questions might finally make sense once the DLC drops. So let's see what happens in the DLC, because that's where we might actually confirm the real timeline placement. If you think I missed something, or if I got anything wrong about the lore, please point it out in the comments. I genuinely want to hear your opinions, your corrections, and your own timeline theories. And if you have suggestions on how I can improve the channel, editing, pacing, theory style, anything, feel free to share. I read every comment. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more theories, timelines, and deep dives into the Little Nightmares universe and beyond. Thanks for watching, this is theorize, and I'll see you in the next one.